You may have heard of the Nashville Number System. If you haven't, you've certainly heard of things like chord progressions being referred to as 1-4-5, 1-6-2-5, 2-5-1, right? And if you've heard these and these are confusing, you must be asking yourself, what are these numbers? What do they mean and why are we using them, right? These numbers are all the product of a system that was designed in order to facilitate much more easy charting of music and communication of music between musicians. In other words, here's a piece of music to play, and simplifying that process. Well, hey, welcome back to the channel. My name's Chris. Today you will learn about the Nashville Number System. I'm going to explain what it is, give you sort of a brief history of why it's here and what we use it for. Then we'll put it on the guitar and I'll show you how to see it and build it on the guitar and thereby be able to use it. And I'll explain all this stuff when we zoom in. Okay, but what is the Nashville Number System? The Nashville Number System is an iteration on a system that was actually designed back in the 1700s to facilitate the ease of charting music for musicians to both write, for composers to write, and for musicians to then play, right? So I see a chart of music and I'm playing it. Back in the days of sort of big orchestral compositions, every single note has to be written out, because when you have 40 or 60 people in a room, you can't be like, rehearsing with them without any information. It'll take you days and days just to get one piece of music sort of rehearsed and recorded or performed. So writing music is of course very important. In a situation where you have 40 people, everybody needs to know exactly what they're doing, exactly when they're doing it. When you have a smaller group of musicians, a band for example, and there isn't a need for as much specificity, right? The guitar player doesn't need to know every single note they're playing. Whoever's taking care of the melody, maybe the singer or the saxophone player or whoever, needs that charted out. But everybody else in the group just needs like some road signs. Where do I go from here? What happens in the bridge, right? And then they can interpret that on their instrument. So that's what this system was designed to do. So the Nashville Number System is an iteration on this idea. And basically, how do you simplify that process for musicians, for smaller groups of musicians who are capable of just interpreting the music? And it does this by proxying in numbers for chord functions. Now, I will explain what a chord function is when we zoom in, but it's different than a chord quality. Chord qualities being major, minor, diminished. We're just going to stay with triads for now. Chord functions are, how does it function in the key? And I'll just give you a very quick example of this. Here's an E chord. Just a regular old E major chord. Without any context, your ear is hearing this as, pretty solid. It's a major chord. That quality, the major chord quality, is very settled, right? It's a very home base, nothing's weird, there's no tension in it really, right? I'm going to switch this to a triad. It's an E major triad, same chord, just a triad. On the D, G, and B strings, by the way, it's 6, 4, 5. Same chord, right? Yay, it's E chord. Listen to when I change the context now to provide you the sonic context of an A major scale. So there's our sonic context. Here's the E chord. Now it's got a function. It functions as creating tension to take you back to the root, which is now A. The tonic is A. The chord function is basically a combination of its quality and its position in the scale. This is the 5 chord now. So that's what a chord function is. So these chord functions become very useful when you have these smaller groups of musicians who might be in a hurry. So if you take us back to like the 1950s when music, the production of modern pop music was really sort of becoming a super huge business. We needed to get musicians into a studio, throw down some tracks, write some songs, and get them out, get the next people in, and just start moving things around. These numbers, proxying in for these chord functions, allowed studio musicians to just quickly go. When you have a chord progression that just says 1-4-5 and the band leader says, we're in the key of A, everybody knows what's going on and you can track a song immediately, right? It just reduces the cognitive load. Okay, I I think it's time to zoom in and let me show you how to put this on the guitar, how it all works. Then I'll give you an example of the Nashville Number System working under fire. Like, here's what it's for. I'll show you how that works. All right, let's zoom in. Okay, let's get the Nashville Number System on the fretboard, which is where all information should be, right in here. Not in our heads or on paper or anywhere else. Get it on the fretboard. That's why we're here. Okay, as I explained before, the Nashville Number System basically is a proxy. It uses numbers to proxy in for chord functions. And as you saw there, that E chord function test, like that sounded different when it was in relation to something else. That's what a chord function is. So let's just start with that. And so the chord function is a combination of the quality of the chord as well as where it is in the scale. So qualities of chords are very, very easy for us to figure out. Major, minor, diminished. We're only going to use those three. There are many, many other chord qualities when you get into four-part chords, but triadically, triads, three notes. Those are the three formulas and qualities that we're going to be working with. So in the major scale, we're going to harmonize the scale right now. You'll see that it creates 7 chords, a chord for each note in the scale. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we're back to the 1. When you harmonize the scale, you build a chord off of each one of those scale degrees, and each one of those chords has a different quality. It's either major, minor, and there's one diminished chord in there. And I'm going to expose all that stuff right now. But basically there are 3 major chords, 3 minor chords, and 1 diminished chord. 3 plus 3 plus 1 is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so let me show you how that works out. If you don't know how to harmonize a scale, there's a video right here on harmonizing that's really, really good. So bookmark that or go back to that when you, if you're confused about this next part. When you harmonize the scale, and I'm just going to play arpeggios through the scale. Let's lay those out as bar chords in a single position so we can get all these numbers and all these chord qualities and their functions down in one spot. 1 is always major. 2, which is up a whole step from the root, is always minor. 3, 1, 2, 3 is always minor. 4 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4 is always major. The 5 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is also always major. The 6 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm going to take this down an octave, is always minor. And the 7 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, is always diminished. And then we're back to the 1. So let's just review that. 1, major. 2, minor. 3, minor. 4, major. 5, major. 6, minor. 7, diminished. 1, major. So the Nashville numbering system just references that architecture, the 1 chord, the 2 chord, the 3 chord, the 4 chord, etc., etc. The Nashville number system is actually an iteration, as I mentioned, of another system that did the same thing back in the 1700s. That system used Roman numerals rather than straight Western numbers. And the way it did that was basically using a number, a Roman numeral for every position in the scale, just like this, but it allowed the user, the composer or the charter, to use lowercase numbers to indicate minor chords, a chord with a minor third in it, and uppercase numbers to indicate major chords. With the Nashville number system, we've turned back into Western numbers. You have to put a chord quality indicator next to the number if it's altered in any way. In other words, the 2 chord in the Roman numeral system would look like this, a Roman, sort of a lowercase Roman numeral 2, right? 2 I's. But in the Nashville numbering system, it's just a 2 because we're assuming that we know it's a minor chord. It's a 2 chord, right? Okay, we've got our chord qualities down, major, minor, or diminished. We know where they are in the major scale, so we know what their function is. This one, functions as the 2 chord or functions as the 5 chord. Now you and I are in a band together. So good to have you here. Thanks. I was the only guitar player in this band for a while. I am so glad to have you here. The singer is going to be here in about 5 minutes, and they want to work on this song, Louie Louie. Do you know that song? It goes like this. Right? But it actually doesn't go like that. This is 1, 4, 5, 4, 1. We're in the key of A. Louie Louie has a minor 5, so it actually goes like this. That's much more authentic, right? Louie Louie has a minor 5 in it. So in the Nashville number system, the way I would do this is I would put a 1, a 4, and a 5 with that little minus sign, which equals minor. That minus sign. If we were using the older system, the Roman numeral system, it would look like this. 1, right, large Roman numeral, 4, large Roman numeral, 5, lowercase. Small v, right? And then you'd know. Now, if indeed you and I are sitting here, thanks again for joining the band. I've been having a real hard time doing all this by myself. If I were to say to you, we're doing Louie Louie, and here are the chords, A major, D major, E minor, and you were to get your pencil out and you write that on a chart, right? Okay, A major, D major, E minor, got it. Singer comes in. Singer's here. Oh my gosh. Okay, come on in. Singer's like, hey everybody, great to be here. Let's run Louie Louie, and we're doing it in the key of F sharp because that's where I sing the best. Your chart's completely hosed now. You have to go, oh gosh, hold on a second. Wait a minute. We're in the key of F sharp? F sharp you said, right? F sharp, okay. So now I got to take my chart out. Wherever there's an A, I got to cross that out. Put F sharp in there. Okay, and then the 4 chord is, that's B. So wherever I had a D before, that has to be a B now. And then the 5 chord is C sharp. So I cross out all my E minors and make those C sharp, like, what? That's taking a little while, right? With the Nashville numbering system, it's just 1, 4, minor 5, 4, 1. You can play that anywhere. So the band plays it in F sharp and the singer's like, wait, you know, I just had a cup of tea. I'm feeling like I could actually pull this off even higher. I want to really sing it higher. Let's take it up to C. Just find your C, plug in 1, 4, minor 5, 4, 1, and you've got it, right? There's the Nashville number system in combat, being used on the front lines. The singer's going to be here in 5 minutes. That Nashville number system helps you reduce the cognitive load for the whole band, right? So you and I can just jam, right? The singer comes in, it looks like we know what we're doing, even though we probably don't. Okay, there it is, the Nashville number system. Really just an iteration from that other system in the 1700s that used Roman numerals rather than regular numbers, right? But obviously designed to facilitate easy transposition of music, as you saw, you know, when the singer comes in and says, I can't sing that high, or I need that in a different key. The Nashville number system just allows everybody to just calibrate, boom, and you're done. But also those chord functions being the most important thing, really. How do you describe the function of a chord without necessarily having to know what all the notes in the key you're in, or how many sharps and flats are there, all that stuff. You don't have to have all that in your brain. Okay, great. I hope you enjoyed this. I've tabbed it all out. That's on Patreon. I've linked that in the description below. Head on over there if you'd like the tabs. And if this channel resonates with you, you enjoy what I'm doing, consider supporting the channel. Patreon's a great place to do that. I've also included a donate button down below if that's how you're feeling. And if you choose to support the channel in any way, I thank you in advance. Okay, so go figure out what those chord functions are. Get that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Get all those bar chords in that clump together. Move that around the circle of fifths, right? Get to know it really well. And then you'll be able to just use it. just like everybody in Nashville does. It's very, very handy. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you have fun with it, and I'll see you next time.